Hey, thank you so much for joining me this evening for this webinar on Heritance Aarah. The webinar will be recorded and we'll be sending out the recording in the next couple of days alongside all of their agent kit and everything that you might need to be selling Heritance Aarah. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, do please pop them in the Q&A and we can get to those at the end. But thank you so much for joining me. We're really excited to be presenting Heritance. We've been representing the property for just over a year now, and we now as a team have all been down there to see it. We've all had an amazing stay there, and we've had some incredible feedback as well from trips that people have taken, agents have taken throughout the last year or so. So it's been really awesome to see that feedback coming in and to have all that incredible feedback. So the property is 150 villas. It's located up in the north of Maldives, excuse me. It's located up in the north of the Maldives in Raa Atoll. So it's about a 40-minute seaplane transfer from the international airport. You fly into the international airport and then you head around to the seaplane terminal, and then you actually are welcomed into Heritance's beautiful lounge, which was recently completed towards the end of last year, and it's an absolutely stunning spot for guests to kind of hang out and chill out while they're waiting for their seaplane transfer. Sometimes these seaplane transfers can there can be a little bit of a wait, especially if there is adverse weather conditions. So it's nice to have somewhere comfortable to hang out in. So I will show you a quick video of this area. So as I said, you've got 150 villas here. What's really lovely about Heritance is because in the Maldives, the model is kind of that one island, one resort, having a lot of villas means that you have to have the number of activities and the number of restaurants and things like that to kind of back that up. And so we really found when we stayed here, we had so much to do, so many different activities. You were eating in a different place every day, and so it really felt like a very varied experience. Even staying there, even if guests are staying there a little bit longer, they still get a really nice varied experience. So as you land here at the jetty, you're greeted by our team who put on a real performance to welcome guests, and you're welcomed by your butler, who you will then be teamed up with for the rest of your stay. He was excellent. He whisked us straight off to the main area. He set us up on the Wi-Fi. He set us up on a WhatsApp group with him, and then anything we needed, any activities we wanted to do, restaurants we wanted to eat at, he arranged all of that for us via WhatsApp, and he was there to pick us up from dinner and take us back to our room. A few days in, we did remember we had legs, and so we did choose to walk sometimes, which with all the incredible food we definitely needed. This is our main area. This is where you'll be greeted by management as well, and anything you need throughout your stay. It's kind of quite central on the island. Now this looks quite overwhelming, this infographic, but this essentially shows you what is included or what you get with each different room category. We will send you this so you don't have to memorize it. And one thing to note is that the property is all-inclusive. So all of these room categories are booked on an all-inclusive basis. We don't have any other board rate. You have 5 different restaurants included in that. And we have 2 restaurants which come at a supplement, one to all room categories, and one is included for one of our room categories. So across the board, you have 5 different restaurants that guests can dine in. You have an incredibly extensive wine and drinks list included as well. You've got a great, very well-stocked minibar, different levels of it being stocked in different villas, but in general, very well-stocked minibar. And so guests can really expect to come here and not have to have a really hefty extras bill, which is really nice, particularly I think in the Maldives. So looking at our villa categories, we've got beach and over water villas, which is I think across the board, kind of the general split. Our beach villas range from beach villas that are perfect for kind of couples. We've got family beach villas, and we have them with and without pools as well. This looks at the kind of the layout of each villa, and actually this layout you can kind of see is very similar in most of the villa categories, even over water. What's lovely about the beach villas is that we've got this beautiful outdoor bathroom. You obviously step straight onto the beach and then down into the ocean right there. This lovely big deck outside, and we just loved the outdoor bathroom. It really added something very special to these rooms. And what I really love about all the villas at Heritance is that they have that traditional Maldivian thatch, which gives a very traditional feel and a very kind of authentic feel to what is actually quite a modern resort. We've got our beach villas with a pool, so exactly the same layout. You can expect all the same things here. You just have that lovely addition of a private pool here as well. We then have our family beach villas. So the family beach villas are essentially 2 beach villas together with an interconnecting section. They are identical. You can have the second room as a double if guests would like that. We also, in all of the rooms, have got a day bed. So even at all room categories, there is a day bed, which can be converted into a single bed. So in here, we can actually add in 2 extra single beds very, very easily without having to add an extra piece of furniture, which means that you can then have a larger family staying here. So the interiors are much the same. You can see here that day bed is a lovely big spot. It once it's converted is the same size as a single bed. And of course that access straight onto the beach. And then you have the family beach villas with a pool. There are only 2 of these, so these are fewer further between. But it's again the exact same. You just have that lovely addition of that private pool. Then looking at our overwater categories, the ocean villas would be the kind of entry-level overwater category. We have 52 of these, and they're on a beautiful long jetty, all have incredible views, and they're angled in such a way, as you can see here, they're angled in such a way that they feel very, very private when you're in them. That layout is fairly similar to the beach villas, and then you've got that big deck and the kind of that access straight into the ocean there, and you can go snorkeling right off your room. There's the house reef nearby. Now the ocean suites, I definitely say, the best for snorkeling off your room because you are literally right on that reef and it is very beautiful. There is 25 of these. They are, again, you can see they're slightly angled, which gives that lovely privacy. And they are actually over 2 floors. So this layout here, you can see there's the living room, and then directly above the living room, you have the bedroom, which has beautiful views. You have it framed so nicely by the thatched roof. And so, I mean, when I slept in here, I didn't sleep with the curtains closed. I kept them open. So you have that incredible view first thing in the morning. You actually have 2 bathrooms here as well. You have the bathroom off the bedroom, and then you have a second bathroom downstairs. And in the overwater categories, we have this kind of glass in the floor where you can see through and you can see the fish swimming underneath. And because you're so close to the reef, it is really beautiful. We then have one of our ocean residents. And now this is an amazing kind of group or sort of small group villa over water. It's right at the end of one of those jetties, and you've got amazing views, 180-degree views of the ocean. Beautiful big infinity pool. It's really wow. And down here you've got 2 double bedrooms, and then we also have a single room as well. You've got a lovely big living and dining area inside and outside as well. And so that is a really cool spot, particularly for 2 couples or maybe a family with older teenagers, for example. It would work really nicely. Now, the ocean suites, those 2-story suites, they are adults only, and they do come with that extra restaurant included in their rate, which I'll go through now with the dining experiences. But one thing to remember is that 5 of these restaurants are included for all room categories. So you have a really varied experience from a food perspective. The food here was absolutely incredible. We were really blown away by the standard of dining here. And I think it's so nice to have that breadth of flavour and the kind of different styles as well with the longer stay in particular. We were just here 5 nights. We managed to eat everywhere and we had an amazing experience. But I have to say the food was some of the best I've had outside of going to a fine dining restaurant. So list of the restaurants here with what they offer. We start with Ranba restaurant, which is kind of buffet style. This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. You generally have breakfast down here, and you're sat there with your feet in the sand. It is a really idyllic spot. We then have Raleigh. They do actually serve brunch here for those guests who maybe slept in a little. They can have brunch here, and then lunch and dinner. And this actually, the bar attached to Raleigh has a fantastic view for the sunset. We then have Ginifati, which is a seafood restaurant. Again, you're down in the sand. I loved this setting, feet in the sand in the evening. It's kind of that beach barbecue kind of style, and really incredible fresh seafood. Ambula restaurant is our award-winning restaurant. So this is a kind of Sri Lankan Maldivian fusion type of food. You get that amazing kind of local flavors. I love food giving you a kind of sense of place when you're in a new destination. And those flavors were just incredible. And what was lovely is the wait staff were excellent at kind of explaining what the dishes were and how they'd been kind of adapted to the kind of fine dining style, but a lot of them were very traditional dishes. So it was very interesting from a cultural point of view as well, which was incredible. And that comes out as sort of 8 courses and matching wines. It was really stunning. We then have Hatha restaurant. Now, this is the restaurant that is not included for any room categories, and that is simply because it is a really small restaurant. This comes as a supplement for anyone staying at Heritance. There are just 12 seats here, and it's that really cool kind of chef's table, teppanyaki style. It's a real performance from the chef, and it's a very, very cool experience. And being that it is only 12 seats, it's a very intimate experience as well. And we then have Barney Restaurant. Now, Barney Restaurant is that restaurant included for the Ocean Suites. It is adults only here. Other guests can pay to dine here. They can pay a supplement to have dinner here, but generally it is just included for those Ocean Suites guests. And it's got a really lovely spot here for, after dinner drinks. Those couches are absolutely beautiful. You could very easily, I think, fall asleep there. And then some other unique dining experiences. We had our floating breakfast, which was very cool. That middle photo is of the Hatha restaurant and the chef's the teppanyaki kind of style dining. And we also had a Sri Lankan cooking demo as well, where we were shown how to cook all of these different recipes. We were actually given the recipes as well. And then we got to eat them, which was the best part. But it was really, really cool. And we loved those kind of experiences as well throughout the dining. Then in terms of bars, there are 5 different bars. So there are so many places, as you can kind of see, so many places to kind of break off and hang out. The resort, I think on our 2nd or 3rd night was actually full. We would honestly not have known it. I barely saw anybody else. I think people quite often stay in their rooms in the Maldives. It is that kind of, in villa dining and things like that. But also it's dispersed so well throughout the restaurants and the different bars. So you kind of feel like it's quite quiet at all times. Bandi Bar is the sort of main bar. It's where the main pool is as well. And you can actually get pizzas down here also. So guests who are kind of hanging out by the pool at lunch don't necessarily want to get dressed and go for lunch. They can just chill down here and have a pizza. Really nice for families in particular. We then have Sky Bar. So this is a fantastic sunset spot, and it's just above Ambula restaurant. So a great spot for, that pre-dinner drinks. We then also have Udaras Infinity Pool Bar. So this is just opposite Barney restaurant. It's actually just included for those Ocean Suites guests. It's an adults only area. We've got this private pool and a bar. And so it's really nice that just that sort of added extra for those Ocean Suites guests and a kind of adults only little communal pool and area. We then have Farlu Bar, which is very well known for its whiskies, and then Ralu Bar, which is great. Again, another really good sunset spot and fantastic for rums. And that's something that really was showcased so well throughout the bars and restaurants, was the knowledge of all of the staff on different, different beverages, different flavor profiles, what you kind of like and what they think you're going to like, even though you never tried it. They really did incredibly well. And we had some of the best cocktails I've ever had here. Then moving on to activities and experiences. So of course you've got amazing water sports in the Maldives, and we're in a beautiful location we've got our house reef, but guests can go off diving elsewhere as well. Raa Atoll is very close to where the manta rays where the manta rays kind of congregate, and there is Hanafari Bay not far away as well. So if guests are interested in that sort of thing, they can book that as an added extra as well. And there are so many other activities as also. So we have our cinema set up on the beach, pretty beautiful, intimate experience. We've got a brilliant kind of recreation and games room. This is awesome for teenagers, kids wanting kind of a bit more, who might get bored. You've got table football, you've got a snooker table, you've got the table tennis. There's also actual tennis, badminton, there's a paddle court as well. Got a brilliant gym here, really well equipped gym. In fact, I was quite surprised at how sometimes hotel gyms aren't hugely well equipped. And you've of course the tennis courts. We've then got one of the largest kids clubs in the Maldives. It's a brilliant space. They've got staff from all over the world, so speaking many different languages, which is of course one of the challenges when you've got young kids coming from different different languages. And it's a really cool spot. Our Medispa, of course, you're in the Maldives, relaxation is absolutely a must, and you can have all the sort of typical facials and massages, but also some minor procedures here as well. And then in terms of excursions, so there are a number of excursions included depending on the length of stay, and depending on the villa guests have booked. So things like the sunset cruise, there's also a sunrise cruise, and you can head out as well to find dolphins also. We've then got included water sports and activities, so paddleboards and kayaks. You can also take a snorkel and mask out and head out snorkeling on the reef. And of course, the diving here is amazing as well. So we do have a PADI certified dive school. Guests can learn to dive here, and guests have a kind of introductory dive or a refresher dive of 30 minutes included in their stay as well. And a really nice thing about staying at Heritance was getting the kind of idea of the culture. I said obviously through the food, it's so lovely to get and sort of understand culture through food, but also they have this Maldivian village kind of set up on the island. And once a week they take guests around and teach them about the history of the Maldives and the language and the culture and the kind of start of tourism in the Maldives. And so it's a really interesting way to kind of understand a little bit more about where you are, because it's sometimes I think a little harder to get that sense of place in a destination like Maldives, where you are on that one island for the duration of your stay. We do have a local island nearby as well. This excursion, it does come at an extra cost, and guests can head over there. And it's a very kind of casual interaction. You kind of have a little wander around. We had a brilliant guy, brilliant gentleman from the resort who showed us around. He's from here. We actually went to his home and met his mum and his sisters, which was lovely. And we saw his school, and they do have an incredible, very old mosque here as well. So it was just a really nice, quite casual interaction that didn't feel kind of voyeuristic or kind of showy in any way. But it was lovely to kind of get that idea of the kind of local, how locals live. And it was really beautiful. We do have various sustainability accreditations. So it is the first green rated building in the Maldives. They have come in a top 5 finalist in the South Asia Sustainability Awards as well. And then things in areas like this that you kind of have to take into consideration, all kind of have been things like sewage treatment, what to do with food waste. They have a compost machine that converts all the food waste into compost that's used for all the beautiful plants that are growing on the island. The island is just awash with greenery and flowers, and it's absolutely beautiful. And that is assisted by the food waste on the island. We then have 30% energy efficiency, and also a lot of solar as well. So 13% of the total energy is covered by solar, and that's always they're always taking measures to try and increase where we can be more sustainable. Now a quick look at the rates. It's all very well and good loving the property, but you need to know how much it costs. So this is just a quick look at a rack rate, a kind of from price on average. And so we've got our beach villas right through to the ocean villas and suites, and then of course the ocean residence as well. And now the ocean suites is that category that does have the extra inclusions. but that kind of gives you a bit of an idea of a from rate, and we will send out things like sample contracts with the follow-up. But thank you so much. That is where I finish off. Thank you for joining me this evening. I don't know if you've got any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A, and I will get to those now. Hopefully I answered them throughout the webinar, and we will be sending out that follow-up in the next couple of days. Do please reach out if you would like any team training or any kind of more in-depth if you've got any questions. But hopefully I will see you again on our next webinar on the 24th of January on our Zambian client green safaris. So we will see you there. Thank you very much.